Hey guys, and welcome to this Mustang GT4 review on iRacing. New content for Season 4 2025. My name is William Chadwick. I am a GT4 engineer for Hymo Setups and 3-time special event winner in the class. I will be taking you through my first impressions, my review of the car, and hopefully give you some tips on whether you should buy it. I hope you enjoy the review. So, you join me, clean shaven, here with the new Mustang. Straight in, pretty much, from when this update has gone live, maybe 10 minutes or so since the servers have gone up. This is the new Mustang. We're going to go round Silverstone, kind of feel how it is, and I'm going to give you my impressions on how I think it drives. Obviously, we're on a full new GT4 refresh, so I've been driving the GT4s in the demo time. I've been doing mainly the Cayman around here, so I've already got a feeling of the lap time to expect, kind of. Sort of around the range and what I'm thinking of this car. So firstly, I'm going to go not on baseline because generally that tends to be not too good. We're going to go for the fixed, which is replacing sprint fix, sort of the same thing. Something to note GT4 wise, like they've had quite a few changes. So obviously the new tire, generally it's putting us on the endurance pads. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the sprint pads, but most of fixed races will be on endurance, so that's just something that I've found and I prefer. Right, so here we are in the new car. Let's listen to the sound of it. That's actually something to note. So obviously sounds quite nice. Viewing angle's okay, maybe a little low for me. We've got a proper clutch, so you can do a proper clutch pull away. It's quite nice, little pink pit lane exit. Sounds quite meaty. We're going to just assume we know where the shift points are. And yeah, let's get into this review. So, initial feeling feels quite grippy actually. I've been driving in slightly hotter temperatures than this, and I kind of understand what to expect. Wow. Okay. Wow. We are really loose. Could do with putting some gloves on maybe. Just burnt my hand. Bit of lore that you can find out on a panhandle. So don't do that. You can already see that I've moved my UI around a bit. It's new iRacing UI. Certainly say it's, you know, as you'd expect. Traction really not good. Like you can see, we're pretty loose, and that's coming from a Cayman obviously, which is one of the best in class for traction. I'm gonna shift my bias back a little bit. Yeah, so initial feeling, actually really strong front end, is what I'll say. From the cars I've driven in this class, the initial feeling of it, especially compared to the Cayman, feels quite nice. Generally, on throttle, rotating extremely well. You can see kind of as I slide out of that corner. Quite stable, to be honest. It actually feels quite compliant. Obviously, the biggest issue initially is the lack of traction. Silverstone last corner, you can see really I'm having to fight the car under throttle. But yeah, it's quite interesting initially. Maybe I can get up to speed, hopefully, and come up with some more concrete conclusions. Of course, this is without any setup done. This is kind of how you'll get it in a fixed race. Of course, I've changed the pads, but don't think you're going to be able to do that. Second gear feels pretty decent out of there. It's not a great line, to be fair, in Village. But, you know, generally, like, initial impressions are quite good of this, actually. I've been driving the Cayman. I've done like almost an hour in the Cayman already, at least 20 laps around here. And I was a bit underwhelmed. It feels a bit stiff now. It's lifting a front wheel quite easy in the way it's been set up. But I must say, this car feels extremely compliant. I'm going to actually accidentally hit one of the sausage curbs when we get towards the final sector, just to kind of get an idea of if it's got a pretty bad curb compliance, for example. But obviously Silverstone it's not something that you do often around here, is hit a curb or a big curb. But yeah, actually I really like the way, genuinely. I drove the BM when it came out, didn't like it at all. It was really, really tough to deal with, especially around this circuit. I found the BM horrible last season. Cayman was a little bit better with a touch of understeer. Obviously, it's not got great traction, but as a car, as a dynamic platform, if you can get used to how it's sliding, my initial impression is that it's actually quite solid. Lap time wise, I mean, we're on for reasonable timings here. Not sure what we were doing there before braking. Probably should have checked just to see top speed wise. I would imagine this car's pretty good on top speed. But yeah, it feels quite nice actually. Didn't hit that sausage curb. That was pretty good. A little loose. That's my first lap, and that's reasonably competitive. Obviously, that's about. I did laps in this weather on the old generation of cars, and you might go, "Wow, that's slow," but it isn't, because this is just what you're going to come to expect from the new cars. I did laps on fixed that were 10 low, 10.4 and a 10.2 in 2 different cars respectively on the fixed setup on this exact weather. But yeah, as you can see, getting into the 11s on this weather in this car. You could have obviously got into the 9s in the old GT4s as well. It makes me think that the update in general is about 2 seconds slow, which is kind of what they reported. So realistically, they're pretty accurate on that. You know, iRacing haven't always been the best for being accurate on what they say regarding. Oh, I remember when the GTP update came out, they thought that the devs thought that the car was the same, but actually, you know, I can't speak for its competitiveness, and that's something that we'll only get to know over the next few weeks. But generally, like, the general dynamic, and I know a lot of people care about this, sounds nice. Mid-corner, really nice. Obviously, we've gone a bit wide there. But on a stock default setup, pretty controllable, quite compliant, and I'm actually really enjoying the way it drives. I think I'm going to take it to one more track. I'm going to take it to Mugello, I think, which often shows up a car on its, like, how bad it is over curbs, for example. But generally, I'm really enjoying this first impression of the car, and I don't know, it just feels quite good to me. Maybe that's because I've been driving the Cayman, and maybe the Cayman's quite bad. But honestly, really positive impression of the car initially. Obviously, you can see it's loose. Like, just watch my steering inputs in the middle of a corner, for example, on an exit. But yeah, I'm impressed. Little loose there. That would be my only complaint.
New fastest lap for you.
Yeah, I mean, my first impressions at this circuit is really positive of the car. Fuel usage is obviously quite high, and we obviously have quite, you know, this is like 0.6 higher a lap, or maybe 0.5 higher a lap than a Porsche. So, yeah, but this has always been the case. The Porsche's always used not a lot of fuel. Let's listen from the outside, maybe from a TV camera. Sounds nice. Very loose through that last corner, but even the Porsche was quite loose through there. And generally sitting quite low with its splitter. I mean, that's just a visual observation, but yeah, it feels pretty strong. It certainly doesn't feel sluggish in the high speed on fixed. It's obviously loose from the rear end. This is something you just come to expect from these types of cars. But I would say pre-update, because I've not drove the Merc yet, it feels pretty similar to how the Merc would feel in a fixed scenario. Maybe with a touch less traction, but generally I'd argue that this update has quite a bit less traction. But yeah, from the 3 laps I've done there, this car feels really good. We're going to take it to Mugello and let's see how it fares there. Okay, so you join me here at Mugello. We're going to jump onto the circuit and we're going to test out how the car's like general damper setup is. Now, let's see. I'm not sure what to expect. Its sprint fuel is about 8 litres higher than what you get in the Porsche, which is certainly not extreme. You've seen more from the McLaren in the past in this class. Not sure if they've adjusted that. But let's see how it deals with these little anti-cuts, because they're very important to actually get at here. Oh, wow. Okay, that's just cold tight. Well, that's embarrassing, isn't it? These got 3D curbs here. I don't think you have that at Silverstone. Oh my god. That's extremely compliant. this car feels good. Like, I really hope I'm not giving a false impression here, and you look at me in a month's time and I look stupid because the car's been uncompetitive at every track, and that it certainly could be. But wow, my first impressions of this car are not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, really, because I just don't view it as, you know, that sporty of a car, but wow.
If you cut the course, you've got to slow down and give up that time.
Oh, it's really taking that well. Like, you can just see, like, these anti-cuts, I mean, if you've drove GT3 before, like, you'll know that, obviously, it's quite bumpy and stuff. You can get thrown off by them quite aggressively. So I've had, like, GT4s around here. I'm trying to think of the cars that have struggled. They bounce quite high, and then maybe if you hit multiple and consecutive in a row, they don't do too good of a job, but I didn't expect to get into this review and start going, oh, I really like this car, but certainly compared to I remember when the BMW came out, I really struggled with it. But this is certainly very nice, and I'm very impressed so far. Traction's not great, but like, what do you expect? Oh god, it's pitching in quite aggressively there. Well, that's good to have a good bit of rotation. Let's hit these two in a row. I mean, bam, bam, settles really nicely. I don't know why. It's good over the curbs. Yeah, I mean, I've only got one more test for it that I can think of to shake it up. But let's go to Magny-Cours and let's just full send the last chicane. So you join me here at Magny-Cours on my way to the last chicane, famous for needing an extremely aggressive, unrealistic line to go fast in the sim. So let's see what it holds for us if I take... Right, I mean, that wasn't great, was it? let's go around one more time and let's take a little bit less. Something to mention as I head round for my next lap is we've got two TC settings. I assume, yep, TC lateral, so that's when the car is slipping at the rear, so it's sliding sideways. And then you've got cut, I assume, or that's longitudinal, so that's like straight line, so like out of a hairpin if we were straight line it and go like that, how much cut of TC you're getting. And then we've got an ABS setting as well, 3 to 12. I mean, throttle shape as well. Oh, so we're on we're not necessarily on a linear throttle shape either. Wow, that's quite impressive actually. Now, you look in the GT4 class at like the adjustments that you get in car, and like the Porsche for ages has had one adjustment for everything. Now you can turn off ESC and stuff, but like the McLaren has like again one setting. I think from memory the Merc has ABS and TC, but just one setting on each. Really, really in depth here, and I'm just thinking for like open setup series, for endurance events, you'll be able to tune this a lot more to your liking as a driver. Even with just the general TC settings, and that to me is quite an advantage, especially with such a range of settings as well between 1 and 12. 1 and 12. So actually, the more I'm looking at this car, the more I think it's going to be a competitive and fun package. Okay, that takes it well. I mean, obviously the dampers are probably not set up perfectly, but generally, I mean, from everything I've laid my eyes on at the minute, I am extremely impressed with this car. Now, if you're someone that really struggles to deal with stuff like oversteer, generally just throttle control in general, if you struggle with that, it's probably not the car for you in the GT4 class. You're probably better off looking at something like the Cayman, but even when I drove the Cayman earlier today on the new update, it's still loose. This update's more of a slidey update in terms of you're just going to get... You've got less grip. Whether it's optimal to slide or have that amount of slip angle is still to be found out, because I've really not delved into the tyre and tried a lot of different options. But I'm so impressed with the amount of options you've got TC-wise, ABS-wise, but also stuff like just its general handling and general compliance. Seems good on curbs, doesn't overreact, generally nice front-end feeling. And if I'm someone that buys a few cars in a class, if you're someone that loves the GT4 class, I really don't see why you wouldn't consider this as an option, unless maybe we find out in the first few weeks it's completely uncompetitive. But even from like a general perspective, I think this is a really strong car in the class, and certainly something I think a wide amount of people could get to like. But yeah, I mean that's the end of my first impressions, the end of my review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. You'll get an outro from someone with a sort of a beard, not me. It is me, but obviously I'm clean shaven when the time this update has come out. But yeah, really enjoyed this car. In my initial impression, oh, there's brake bias, so you can clearly see I was blind earlier. So make of that what you will. But yeah, very positive to this car. Like the way it has a clutch as well. We can do a little bit of this. Wow, it really does that easily. Yeah, good bit of fun this. Thank you so much for watching this review of the Mustang GT4. I hope my impressions and my review of the car can help inform whether you want to purchase it and run it in Season 4 of 2024. And if you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave comments asking me questions. I will endeavour to reply as soon as possible. Make sure to subscribe, and if you let us know if you want more content like this. It really helps out the channel, and we really appreciate it. If you want to buy any of our setups, please visit the link in the description where you can be taken to the Hymer Setup shop, and hopefully we can help you win some races. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.